Yeah.
And
while we're getting that adjusted, I'm going to talk a little bit about the cabinet. So we have actually built this from scratch. I mean, there is a kit that you can buy for the cabinet itself. So we use that as the base. We got our own screens. We use a system that is essentially, freeware, and that allows us to actually play all the different cabinets and games that you get to see tonight. If we decide to switch on over to another game. But everyone that does these boards, they're doing it out of their own time and love for the games. And a lot of times there's some games that you just wouldn't be able to see in an arcade or any other place otherwise. And some games, like this one for instance, is never was released. This is actually a fan creation. They put some new modes on this particular version of Cactus Canyon, which is why you see on the screen here, or maybe you can't. It's called Cactus Canyon Continued. And so a lot of the different modes that you'll see tonight that pop up, you'll be like, what? This was never on this machine before. That's because it's been added. And it's a great way to have a lot of fun and also not be poor. You can we have 172 machines on this particular cabinet. If you want, I can just go ahead and start. I don't know if you want.
I'm still tweaking, trying to get things back up and running on it.
Okay, so
I haven't done this one in a while.
I see.
The virtual one.
But yeah, with that being said, it's. I think the biggest complaint that a lot of people have is it's not a real machine. Well, yes, it isn't, but like I mentioned, when you're playing this thing, whether you're in person or watching it on the stream, you just get so focused and you get really into the game that you just really don't notice that it's not something that is real because of the fact that you have two buttons and it's laid out like a real machine. The screen is big. It's pretty much the same exact size as a real machine, and the fact, as I mentioned before, with all the different games that you can put on here. You can also customize the sound and make the sound speakers a lot better than the ones that the other real machines tend to kind of not, they kind of skimp the cost a bit when they produce a lot of machines. And so one of the ways that they cut costs is not really putting out a great, fantastic sound system. And so we can customize that. We can put a nice big subwoofer in there. Obviously, we're not going to try to, turn up the bass on that, as we tried earlier with Total Nuclear Annihilation. The bass started drowning out the microphone that we had on here. So we're obviously going to do the adjustments properly so that you're not, lost in and not being able to hear anything on the stream itself. But yeah, there's and then of course we got all the buttons down here as if it's a real machine. We got a coin release here even. We have a nice little we have a button that lets you, put in coins, because sometimes some of the boards aren't set up for free play. So what you end up having to do is pretend like you're putting in a coin by pushing a button that says insert coin and so forth. That's one way around that as well. And then we've got a volume button. We have an exit button here. In fact, I'll show you real quick as he's still kind of getting things ready. We have a menu here that you can kind of bounce through all the different machines. Pinball X is the name of the front end software that allows us to actually go through the different machines and so forth. But yeah, there's just you can put as many games as you want on here, as long as obviously someone out there has programmed the game that allows you to play the game and everything like that. And you can do minor adjustments along the way as well. Sometimes you have to when you put these games on here. They're not, perfect. There's always, just like you're doing a real machine, you got to just sometimes do some adjustments in order to make the ball fit where it needs to go, or make it so it slows down the physics. Because the physics is another question that you probably have in your minds, is like, does it play like a real machine? And all intent and purposes, yeah, it certainly does. And you can adjust the fact that, let's say you want to have a really super fast game, you can turn up the physics and make the ball spin really fast or whatever. Some of the games even have air balls. Funhouse is one example that will allow you to have an air ball happen, and that can also be a challenge as well when you play. But with all those things that are, all included in the package that you see here, I mean, that's why we've invested a lot of time and energy and effort into doing that. And I got the go ahead to go. So thanks again for hanging out.